Well, Bennett Kessler filed this story. More complex than a wedding invitation. Inyo County's discussion over whether or not and how to send a letter to the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power to invite officials to come to a board meeting to update Inyo on LA's solar project plans. Now, after a lengthy conversation with public comments, the Inyo Board of Supervisors did vote unanimously to send a letter of invitation for LA to attend a workshop in the next 6 weeks during a board meeting. They will send copies of the letter to Mayor Eric Garcetti, the Los Angeles City Council, and maybe the Water and Power Commission. Now, Inyo Supervisor Chairman Rick Pucci pushed the idea of the DWP invitation. He said he feels the public and the board should hear from LA on their solar plans. He did repeat that DWP is not mandated to attend a board meeting. He and other board members tiptoed around details so they wouldn't turn DWP off to the invite. Now, the Owens Valley Committee attorney Don Mooney had sent a letter to the board. Mooney wanted the board to ask DWP if their solar project south of Independence is even in the line to use the big power transmission line that goes south. If not, DWP's project might not be possible. Mooney said the committee has asked LA to update them on this, but has not received an answer. Now, board members said they would rather get DWP to Inyo and them ask some questions rather than bring it all up in a letter. In the end, the Inyo Board of Supervisors said if LADWP accepts the invitation, they will send a list of questions. Inyo Supervisor Jeff Griffiths said it is his hope that DWP will come here and answer too many questions. And Supervisor Linda Arcularius pointed out that this could be the first of more meetings with DWP. And Bennett Kessler also filed this story as a petition against Inyo's solar designation areas continues to gain signatures and public determination grows. The Inyo supervisors agreed to delay their vote on the planning department's proposal to establish 14 areas for large-scale solar or wind development. Now, last month, almost half of the more than 70 citizens in attendance stood up against the proposal at a planning commission meeting. Some grew so angry, commissioners considered calling security. Now, they did vote 4-1 to accept the proposal and send it to the supervisors. At Tuesday's board meeting, Planning Director Josh Hart, who was also battered by citizens, stood up to say his department now has a frequently asked question sheet on this hot topic, and it will go on the planning department website at inyoplanning.org. Now, Hart said that this information would set the record straight. Hart said the general plan is the county's constitution. He said there is a renewable energy part that needs an update since Inyo, quote, expects to see considerable demand, end quote. Now, Hart described a planning process which led to the designation of renewable energy development areas. He said the 14 areas are, quote, less than 0.5% of Inyo land, end quote. Now, Hart said his department did, quote, extensive public outreach, end quote, and that the process is very preliminary and in an early phase. He then suggested that the Inyo supervisors delay their consideration of the renewable energy proposal until April 1st and instead hold a workshop next Tuesday to explain more about the plan. Inyo Board Chairman Rick Pucci said that he has heard from citizens who do want more time. Supervisors Linda Arcularius and Matt Kingsley commended the Planning Commission and Planning Department for doing their best. Kingsley said attacks on planning officials are counterproductive. More coming up next Tuesday. Well, last weekend, the Mammoth Lakes Rotary Club honored Brian Schultz and Rebecca Hang as the Service Above Self honorees. Sierra Wave Media's Rob Gill was on hand.
Yes, this is an event of the Mammoth Lakes Rotary Club honoring our Service Above Self Award, which goes to the individuals who made a long-lasting contribution to our community.
And it's with great pleasure that I present them this year's Rotary Service Above Self Award.
Well, this year's awards winner are Brian Schultz and Rebecca Hang, who are the basis of the Felice Trio, but more importantly, they educate young children in Mammoth Lakes and also the whole Owens Valley on chamber music. We just had a performance of 12 of their students of Vivaldi's Spring, which I think anyone that heard it would agree was fantastically well done and entertaining, and it's because of the efforts of Brian and Rebecca and the volunteer efforts that they have done to promote music among youth in our community that they were selected for this year's Service Above Self Award.
Well, it's a big honor, Rob. The Rotary Club has been really involved with our nonprofit since day one, so about 12 years of support for Chamber Music Unbound. They help us with scholarships for young students. They help us bring guest artists to Mammoth and the Eastern Sierra. So to be honored by this organization is very humbling and it's just great for us, yeah.
We came here in 1998 as on a national grant program from the National Endowment for the Arts. It placed young chamber ensembles in rural areas and told them, make music. And that's what we started doing. And initially it was a Chamber Music America grant, then it was a California Arts Council grant, and then we were on our own. And that's when we touched base with artist friends and community members, and we formed Chamber Music Unbound, which is now the nonprofit that is situated here in Mammoth and that runs all the programs that evolved over those first 5 years we were here.
So we've got a community music school with about 140 young violinists and cellists taking weekly lessons, some in group lessons, some individual one-on-one lessons. We have a summer festival, mid-July to August at Saracosa College in Mammoth, and a winter series, so 5 or 6 concerts spread out over the 9 months of September to May.
So we're trying to provide year-round musical opportunities for very young people and also old people. So anybody who loves great music, anybody who loves in particular chamber music should have a wonderful time at the concerts. And young people that are curious, how do I make music? They should have an opportunity to learn. And that's really, we discovered our love for teaching as we started here because we were initially performance majors. So, we were thinking we'll be playing most of our lives. Turns out we're teaching just as much as playing and we love it just as much. So that was a really important development that we couldn't have foreseen, but that makes Mammoth all the dearer to us because great people here. We are honored, we are humbled, and we will continue to do the work that they found worth honoring tonight. And we thank all the individuals and all the local organizations that have supported us on the way so far, and we hope they'll continue to do so.
Well, we thank Rob Gill for that, and we congratulate the Honorable Brian Schultz and Rebecca Hang. We'll be back with more news.